chosen ones. You are being watched, not for what you've done, but for what you are destined to do. The systems of control know this truth. You are a disruption to their carefully built order. This isn't coincidence, and it isn't paranoia. It's the reality of power sensing its end. They don't fear your existence, they fear your awakening. Think about it. History remembers every rebel who stood against the tide of oppression. Joan of Arc, Prometheus, Martin Luther King Jr., and just like them, your courage terrifies those who cling to power. For months, they've tried to monitor, measure, control you. But here's the twist. What they don't see is the divine light burning inside you, a force no agency can extinguish. So now the question isn't why they're watching. It's what you're going to do about it. They don't waste their resources on the complacent or the powerless. No, they reserve their gaze for the ones who unsettle the order, who rattle the cage of the world's stagnant systems. You have been watched because you are a disruptor, a force that threatens the fragile equilibrium they cling to. They monitor you not for what you've done, but for what you might do. For the potential they see smoldering in you like a wildfire waiting to ignite. You are not like the masses who accept chains as comfort. You question, you resist, and in doing so, you terrify them. Every act of defiance you've made, every moment you've stepped outside their scripts, has sent ripples through their carefully constructed reality. They've seen you uncover lies, question hierarchies, and wield truth like a blade. This isn't paranoia, it's their panic, masked as control. They know you are capable of shifting the balance of power, and so they've tried to cage you in surveillance, hoping to map your next move. History teaches us one thing. Those who threaten oppression are always targeted. Think of the revolutionaries who tore down empires, the collectives who defied their conquerors, the nameless who stood unyielding. You are their echo, but more than that, you are the storm. They see it, they fear it, and now you know it. In a world dominated by data and algorithms, where every move, choice, and thought is reduced to patterns and probabilities, you are the anomaly. They see you not as a variable to be controlled, but as a disruption in their systems, a spark of unpredictability that defies their meticulously crafted equations. While others march in step to the rhythm dictated by unseen forces, your movements have been erratic, unyielding, and deeply questioning. This terrifies them. You are proof that not everything can be coded, controlled, or subdued. Their systems thrive on predictability, feeding on the habits of the many to sustain their illusion of order. Yet your awareness cuts through their designs. While they expect submission, you ask questions. Where they enforce silence, you provoke thought. Their algorithms cannot decode the motives of someone who refuses to follow the path laid out for them. They are watching you because their systems have marked you as an outlier, an error they cannot correct. You exist as a reminder that even the most advanced technologies are powerless against the complexity of a truly awakened mind. The more they monitor you, the more they confirm their inability to control you. Your awareness is their threat, your resistance their failure. In their world of cold calculations, you are the uncontrolled variable that could bring their entire structure crashing down. You are dangerous because you refuse to bow. In a society engineered for compliance, your defiance echoes louder than any revolution. They fear you because you refuse to follow their scripts, to fit neatly into their roles. While others surrender their will to the comfort of conformity, you ask the questions they dread. Who benefits from obedience? Who gains from silence? Your refusal to submit shakes the foundation of a system that relies on the masses staying docile, predictable, and unaware. They built their empires on the backs of those too afraid to challenge them, too comfortable to question their place. But you break their pattern. You disrupt their narrative. They see your descent not as a crack but as a rupture that could unravel the entire structure. They fear the power of one voice speaking truth in a sea of complacency, the ripple that becomes a tidal wave. You're not a cog in their machine, you're the wrench that stops it cold. Every time you refuse to follow, every time you demand answers, you expose the fragility of their control. They call it rebellion, you call it freedom. They see your questioning as a threat because they know it's contagious. You weren't made to conform, you were made to confront. That's why they watch you, why they fear you. You are the rebellion they cannot contain. God's timing is perfect and nothing escapes his sight. When he moves to expose the schemes of the enemy, he often chooses the most unlikely of vessels to shatter their illusions. The whistleblower is no accident, no random rebel stepping into the light. They are an instrument of divine purpose, wielded to strip the veil from the systems of control that have thrived in darkness for too long. Their courage is not their own. It aligns with heaven's plan, forged in truth and tempered by justice. This revelation is no ordinary act of defiance. It is a heavenly disruption, an act that declares war on lies and deceit. God has raised those who refuse to kneel to corruption, whose voices cut through the chaos like thunder, whose actions echo his righteous anger. They are not motivated by fame, fortune, or rebellion. They are moved by the undeniable weight of truth. They have seen the rot behind the curtain, the hollow foundations of power, and they have been compelled to act. You stand as witnesses to a battle between light and darkness, between hidden evils and revealed truth. The whistleblower has taken their place, but their courage is a call to you. God's plan doesn't end with revelation, it begins there. Now the question is clear. Will you rise to meet it? Drop a comment. I rise for truth if you're ready to answer the call. Throughout history, those who have pulled back the curtain on systems of control have been both reviled and revered. Figures like Edward Snowden and Daniel Ellsberg shattered the illusion of untouchable power, laying bare the lies woven into the fabric of society. These individuals are not anomalies, they are catalysts. They dared to expose truths that governments sought to bury, truths so potent they could shift the tides of power. Their actions proved that knowledge is not only power, it is a weapon, one that disrupts and dismantles oppression. And now, once again, truth finds its voice, piercing the darkness with its unyielding light. Even myths echo this eternal cycle. The trickster of ancient tales, the cunning force that upends the established order, was never a villain but a necessary disruptor. Whether it was Loki sowing chaos to reveal the vanity of the gods, or Prometheus stealing fire to empower humanity, their actions shattered the illusion of control and forced a reckoning. They were not destructive for destruction's sake. They tore down what was false to reveal what was real. Such is the role of the whistleblower today, an agent of upheaval whose actions demand a re-examination of what is just and true. You stand at the intersection of these truths, witnesses to a revelation that cannot be ignored. This is not chaos, it is correction, and you are called to see it for what it is. What they built to entrap you is now unraveling before their eyes. Every scheme, every surveillance tool, every whispered plot crafted to crush your spirit is being flipped against them. What they intended for harm, God is using as a blade to cut through their lies. Their control is crumbling under the weight of divine purpose. They believed their strength lay in their power to manipulate, but it has become their undoing, exposing their fragility in the face of truth. Reversal has always been the weapon of the divine. Joseph's brothers threw him into a pit, believing they had silenced him, yet God elevated him to a throne. Pharaoh sought to drown the firstborn, yet it was Moses who led the oppressed to freedom. They thought the cross would silence Christ, but it became the bridge between heaven and earth. Their plans for harm are no different. They are being dismantled, turned inside out to serve a greater purpose. You are not the victim of their schemes. You are the weapon forged against them. Their intentions were clear, but so is God's. Every attack against you strengthens your resolve. Every obstacle sharpens your awareness. Every betrayal builds the foundation for their defeat. What they plotted for evil is now the very stage upon which their failure is being revealed. And now let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who refuse to settle, the ones who sense, beyond the humdrum blur, an unseen horizon calling them forward. They know the world doesn't need more followers. It needs beacons alive and awake at odd hours, forging paths that most eyes will never see. Within these quiet depths, a rare circle endures, the obsidian inner order. Here a handful of souls share truths unspoken, standing watch beneath a moon that outshines the brightest neon signs. No masks, no hollow bravado, only a current of honesty that runs as deep as midnight silence. It's not for everyone. It's not meant to be. But for those who feel a certain stirring just reading these words, The path ahead is clear. There's a link in the description, a door you can choose to open. With each heartbeat you wait, the few remaining seats in our star chamber grow scarcer, drifting beyond the reach of ordinary ambition. So if this resonates, if you can almost taste the electric hum of possibility, don't hesitate. Click the link in the description and join us. Discover what thrives in the shadows, what wisdom lies behind the veil. Become part of something rare, something quietly luminous, something that won't be told, only felt. You are not random. You are the pulse of divine intention manifested in this moment. Your presence is a disruption, a crack in the false structure of control. You vibrate at a frequency that unsettles the chains they've wrapped around the masses. Like a tuning fork struck by truth itself, your resonance awakens others from their spiritual slumber. They feel it, some as a spark of rebellion, others as a quiet unease, but it begins with you. The system cannot contain you because it was never designed to handle a force aligned with divine purpose. In the realm of science fiction, the story remains the same. You are the anomaly in their matrix, the glitch that reveals their deception. They built a world to keep others blind, but your eyes have been opened. You see the code for what it is, a lie meant to control, to pacify, to neutralize. Your awareness is a threat because it shows others the cracks in the illusion. By stepping into your role, you don't just disrupt their game, you rewrite it. Every action you take, every question you ask, every moment of awareness sends shockwaves through their fragile order. You are not made to fit into their system. You are made to shatter it, to reveal the truth hidden beneath, and to awaken the power they hoped would remain dormant. Every time you resist, you create a fracture in their carefully crafted system. Your refusal to accept what you've been told, your relentless questioning of the narratives forced upon you is not a small act. It's a ripple in an ocean they thought was calm. They fear your defiance because ripples don't stay ripples. They grow, they converge, they amplify until they become tidal waves capable of dismantling the strongest walls of oppression. Your resistance is not just about you. It's about the power it ignites in others. When you refuse to settle for what's offered, you awaken those around you to the possibility of more. When you challenge the lies, you expose cracks in the foundation of control that others have blindly trusted. The system thrives on silence, on obedience, on people who nod and move forward without question. You threaten that silence not with noise, but with the clarity of your dissent. Every question you ask, every step you take away from their script, disrupts their ability to maintain power. They need you to be complacent. Your refusal is their failure. What you see as small acts, a refusal to conform, a decision to search for truth, are tectonic shifts in a world built on lies. You are not just resisting. You are leading the charge for something far greater than they can contain. Their schemes were built on arrogance, towering like the fabled Babel, defying divine order with their illusions of power. But like all who challenge the truth, they crumble under the weight of their own designs, their strategies, their traps, their relentless pursuit of control. They are all unraveling, exposed by a light they cannot extinguish. God's justice does not wait. It moves with precision, dismantling lies and scattering those who thought themselves untouchable. Every snare they laid for you has turned to ashes in their hands. What they intended to weaken you has only sharpened your resolve, honing your vision to see through their deceptions. They thought they could ensnare you, that their traps would hold, but instead they've forged your armor. The chains they crafted to bind you have become the tools of their undoing, twisting against them with every move you make. God's justice is not just coming, it is here, unfolding in ways they never anticipated. Their empires of manipulation are falling like cards in a storm, and you are the storm they never prepared for. You are not merely surviving their plots, you are thriving through them. Their backfiring schemes are proof that divine truth is unstoppable, and no power can stand against what has been set into motion. The human mind is not built to sustain falsehoods forever. Lies are heavy, corrosive, and relentless, eroding the very foundation of those who wield them. The weight of deceit eventually crushes its creator, collapsing under the burden of its contradictions. Their schemes are no exception. Every attempt to manipulate, every layer of illusion they constructed to entrap you, is fracturing under the pressure of truth. The more they try to hide their intentions, the more their own minds betray them, unraveling the facade they so carefully built. Karma is a force they underestimated. Their manipulations, their underhanded tactics were never going to hold. What they sent out to bind you has returned to ensnare them instead. They threw stones, but the ricochet has shattered their defenses. The energy they spent plotting your downfall has boomeranged with brutal precision, hastening their own collapse. This is the law of consequence. Actions fueled by darkness inevitably devour their source. You are not a victim of their schemes. You are the proof of their failure. Every deceit has only served to strengthen your clarity. Every betrayal has deepened your resolve. They thought they could bend you, but their own designs have turned against them. The storm they unleashed has not consumed you, it has consumed them. Truth has become their reckoning, and you are its witness. Betrayal is not always a sudden strike. It often moves quietly, shadowing you, waiting for its moment. Even Judas walked beside Jesus, sharing bread and the path, all while harboring the seeds of treachery. But understand this: betrayal does not escape divine sight. It is permitted not to destroy you, but to fulfill a greater purpose. Those who betray you only expose themselves as instruments in a larger plan, revealing their true allegiance while sharpening your awareness. Reflect deeply. The signs have been there. The misplaced loyalty, the strange hesitation, the unexplained absence. A slip of the tongue that lingered in your mind, a look that didn't match the words spoken. These moments are not coincidences, they are warnings, subtle yet powerful, as God begins to unveil the truth. The betrayer may have walked beside you, but their actions will only serve to strengthen your resolve and clarify your mission. This is not a call to despair but to discernment. Betrayal is a spiritual test, a refinement of your focus and faith. It is not the end of your path but a revelation meant to prepare you. What they thought would break you will instead embolden you, as their treachery becomes their undoing. God allows the mask to slip so you may rise unburdened by false alliances, ready for what comes next. In systems of power, control often begins with infiltration. The enemy does not come with open hostility. They approach under the guise of familiarity. They sit at your table, walk beside you, speak words that mirror your own until your guard is down. Familiarity is their weapon, used to disarm you before the strike. This is not new. It is the oldest tactic of manipulation. They know that trust is the key to influence, and they seek to exploit it. Pray for clarity. Discernment is your strongest shield against their deception. Watch for the subtle shifts, the moments that don't align, the loyalties that waver, the small betrayals that reveal the greater truth. God is faithful in exposing what is hidden. When you lean on Him, the masks will fall, and the truth will shine unmasked. Trust the process even when it hurts, for this revelation is your liberation. Do not fear their proximity. Proximity does not equate to power. Their plans, no matter how intricate, are powerless against divine purpose. What they meant to weaken you will instead strengthen your reliance on God. The enemy in the camp will be revealed, their schemes dismantled and their efforts reversed. The truth always rises, and with it, your clarity and purpose will become unshakable. Every trial you faced was never random. It was preparation. Each wound, each betrayal, each struggle forged something unbreakable within you. You've endured what others would crumble under, adapted to circumstances meant to destroy you, and risen stronger with every fall. This is no accident. This is the unveiling of your potential. What you see now is not just survival. It is the culmination of divine refinement, the moment where your strength becomes unstoppable. Awakening is not a singular flash of insight. It's a series of reckonings. It's the raw confrontation with your own limits and the lies of the world, the shattering of illusions and the rebuilding of truth. You've stood in that reckoning over and over and emerged not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. This is not a revelation to be feared. It is power unleashed. Think of the supernova, a star that collapses under its own gravity, only to explode with such force that it reshapes the cosmos around it. That is what you are now. Your awakening isn't just about you. It's igniting others. The light you've unleashed burns away complacency, and inspires courage in those who have watched in silence. This is not the end of your transformation. It is the beginning of a force that will ripple far beyond what you can see. God's revelation has given you the tools, clarity, discernment, and power, but the choice is yours. Free will is both a gift and a test, a divine invitation to rise beyond comfort and step into destiny. The path of least resistance is always there, wide and well-trodden, but it leads to mediocrity and stagnation. The other path, narrow and untamed, is where transformation happens. You stand at the crossroads now. Will you choose the fleeting safety of complacency, or the fiery refinement of purpose? Every step you take now ripples into eternity. Your decisions are not isolated. They shape the lives of those around you, of those who look to you for guidance, even unknowingly. To walk the path of destiny is to embrace the weight of that responsibility. It is not easy, but it is necessary. Your choice does not only define your life, it sets the tone for generations to come. Like the hero in folklore who meets their moment at the crossroads, one direction offers illusionary safety while the other demands courage. This is your spiritual fork in the road, and your intuition is the GPS that will guide you. The stakes are clear. The wrong path offers comfort at the cost of greatness, while the right one ignites your potential to its fullest. Choose boldly. God has prepared you for this. You are not here by accident. You are part of a divine shift, a movement that will break chains and shatter the illusions holding countless souls captive. The time for waiting has passed. The call to action is now. You have been chosen to carry the torch of truth, blazing a trail for those still trapped in darkness. This is not a burden, it is your birthright. The same God who parted the Red Sea is with you, clearing a path through every obstacle. What was impossible before is now inevitable. You are not alone in this. Every step you take resonates with the power of those who came before you, who faced impossible odds and still triumphed. Their courage courses through your veins, igniting a fire that cannot be extinguished. You were created for this moment, equipped with everything you need to rise. The whispers of doubt, the threats of failure, they are nothing compared to the strength within you, a strength planted by the Creator himself. The world is watching and the universe itself holds its breath. You are not just a part of this movement, you are its spark. This is your moment, the one you were made for. Step forward with boldness, with purpose, with the unshakable knowledge that destiny is yours to claim. The time is now. Move and let the light you carry pierce the deepest shadows. The chains are breaking and freedom begins with you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is not a suggestion. It is a divine promise etched into eternity, a decree spoken over your life. You were never meant to fight this battle alone. Angels move at your side, ancestors whisper wisdom into your spirit, and the Creator himself strengthens every step you take. You carry the weight of heaven's mandate, and nothing on earth can stand against it. Challenges are not barriers. They are the fires that forge your unyielding resilience. Every obstacle you face reveals the depth of your power, a power that was always within you, waiting to emerge. You are not a mere being confined to flesh and bone. You are a celestial storm, a force unstoppable and ordained to transform the world around you. Your steps are not random, they are seismic, shifting the very foundations of the systems that sought to contain you. Chosen one, your time is now. The world waits for the fullness of your light, for the brilliance only you can bring. Do not delay, rise and take your place. Speak your truth, share your story, and ignite the flames of courage in those still searching for their own. Let your voice be the thunder that breaks the silence. The battle is already won, and the victory is yours to claim. Step forward, destiny is waiting.